Welcome from the break. This is The Dialogue, the big show. My name is Prince Apollo, and looking at the big events which made our week, Dr. Gerard Were-Wansala, a public policy researcher, is with us, and Comrade Daniel Rugarama, a scholar and a Pan-Africanist. He's actually the chairman of the Pan-African movement. Yeah, he's with us, but we have also in the studios Timothy Chimongez, the Associate Director for Center for Policy Analysis, in short, CEPA, looking at the allegations of misuse of public funds coming out of Parliament, and then we're asking if this could be true, and also looking at other issues like what is happening in opposition political parties, NUP in particular, where the top leadership is now clashing over the same issue through Parliament after the former leader of opposition, Honorable Mathias Mpuuga, was allocated 500 million as a service award, to which the leadership in Kamwokya say it was illegal, it was an act that tantamount to abuse of office, and now they are actually considering, actually they have already moved to recall him from the commission, the parliamentary commission, a position he has held for very few months. And we have to take some comments here. Somebody said, thanks for the show, Mr. Apollo. Parliament should think about local farmers, get them irrigation systems and government schools, get more teachers, poor roads in deep villages, instead of wasting taxpayers' money. For example, how can 4 MPs in Parliament use 1.7 billion as casino, yet they still serve they still serve the country earning salary? I am Ainebiona Isaac from Nansana, Wakiso district. You can feel the concerns of the people, and possibly these concerns need a comprehensive response, and that is what we are trying to do, and to call on the leadership and administrators of Parliament to come out and come clear on these allegations. Some other messages coming in. Baziwe Moses. Yes, Baziwe Moses is saying, thank you so much for the show. We are really concerned, and as a parliament of the people, we need answers. And you didn't tell us where you're watching from, but we thank you so much for those comments. Keep those comments coming in. Let's hear your observations and concerns on this particular issue. But let's cross to what is happening in the NUP, a consequence of what we are talking about. I think it's 1 or 2 weeks ago, Dr. Gerard Were-Wansala, we're talking about, discussing this particular issue, but now the latest is that the party is moving to recall Mathias Mpuuga from the Parliamentary Commission through a letter written by the Deputy President, Dr. Zedriga, and the National Executive Committee of the party sat and decided, resolved that Honorable Mathias Mpuuga should come out with a written, he must come out clear and present why he should remain in office after all these allegations that he himself confessed to have committed.
Thank you very much, Apollo. I'm afraid that move, I saw the letter that has given Mathias Mpuuga 7 days to show cause why he should not be withdrawn. And the moment I saw the letter, I remembered at the time they were debating the Administration of Parliament Act. You know, when Uganda was transiting from the movement system to multi-party system. At that time, I was in Makerere University and I followed. And that time, Sam Kaleganjuba, the former national chairman, FDC, raised the issue of how the leader of opposition should be chosen. I'm just building up my point. So at that time, Kaleganjuba argued that the leader of the party that comes out as a run-up to the election, for this case, if it was Bobby Wine #2, then we would assume the position of leader of opposition. Kaleganjuba's argument at that time was that if you pick a person from outside who is not the real leader of this party and you make him a leader of opposition, you can, in the future, we may see problems where the chosen leader of opposition allies with the ruling party to undermine the leader of his own party. And weeks ago, in that conference, Timothy, of the Africa Parliament Monitoring Organization, where we were, I spoke to a colleague from Malawi who told me that today in Malawi, they have two leaders of opposition. One is recognized by the speaker, who is of the ruling party, and another is recognized by the opposition party. But both of them are carrying the titles of leader of opposition. Now, for me, what has happened in the NUP is exactly what Sam Kaleganjuba predicted. That you appoint someone, a leader of opposition, it becomes, you throw around some money, so you increase the budget in the office of the LOP with more privileges, and therefore the person develops the clout, the national clout of admiring to, and therefore there is a temptation that you can be told that you are better than your principal who appointed you. And so, because we have seen the Honorable Mpugavu, he had never carried this clout he has in the previous parliament.
True.
He had never been a chief whip. He had never held, he had never led an accountability committee. So it is through NUP that he became
what he is today.
And we saw his capabilities. Okay? So what I'm saying is a creation of the law, but which has put the party in a trap. Now, when it comes to whether recalling him will succeed, I have listened to Mr. Chris Obore, the spokesperson of Parliament, saying the only way NUP can remove the Honorable Mpuga is by mobilizing the MPs and bringing a petition, mobilizing the MPs, and then getting more than half to vote him out of the commission. So now you see that now the Honorable Mpuga's strength is now not from his party, but from the ruling party. If you watch the media now, go to any media.
But he has support, some reasonable support even in NUP.
Many of them are quiet. I've seen like one or two. I think I've seen Tivandeke from Kayunga. And but voices have gone down because the fact is that these people may need Kamocha for re-election. So they have chosen others to keep quiet. Actually, I've seen others who are very close to Mpuga siding with the party president and the NUP. So whether Mpuga is going to be removed in 7 days, I highly doubt. Because now the biggest support he has, which we are monitoring, these media and so forth, almost all NRM people who appear are supporting Mpuga. So meaning that his support is now on the other side.
Almost and the independence.
On the other side. And therefore removing him
would maybe a tall order.
Exactly. And you saw Zake went to court and won the case when he was kicked out of the commission illegally. For 2 years, almost 2 years, he has not been sitting in the commission. And no one implemented the court ruling.
See what we're saying about the implementing
but why? Why would Parliament
impunity? This is what we are talking about.
Disrespect
we have
constitutional court.
We have developed a very high level of impunity that court rules the Supreme Court, the highest in the land, rules, and we ignore.
But also they have the right of appealing, and they appealed.
They
No,
did.
yes, they appealed, but
did.
we have cases where the appeal has reached the Supreme Court, and there is a ruling, and they have been ignored.
Okay.
And just a minute. And now it brings me to what Timothy was saying, that
Okay.
these institutions don't operate in isolation. The executive has a role to play in making some of these institutions work. Because we cannot be a jungle that courts can rule and then we just sit like nothing happened.
Okay. Well, viewers, the messages are coming in, and most of them are relating to our previous topic, but it is the same topic because one is a consequence of another. MPs are given a lot of money just for the festive season. Where does their salary go? Is such a money in the Constitution? Isaac Ochuo from Makerere.
Let me answer that one. What Isaac should know is that MPs abandoned their role. They pretend to be the government, to provide services, pay a bill, I brought a, you know. So instead of enjoying their salary and they come to parliament, they now stay on the road cutting deals and pretending to be the service providers.
Could it be that pressure that possibly is causing?
They have to get money to give to
the
their
constituents.
constituents.
No, I'm saying, could it be that pressure that possibly is causing what we talked about previously, the mismanagement and
That's
misconduct?
partly true. I can assure you, I'm not a Jewish prophet, but I can assure you that the pressure on the individual member of parliament is so enormous to the extent that they must look around.
Yeah, because even those who sit on the commission are members of parliament. So
It's
when we
true.
are talking about the pressures
it's
from
true.
voters, it is the same pressure.
And another
possibly
thing,
there.
another thing, probably without just to answer the question, I know we shall go there, is that the MPs, we may even talk about the quality of the MPs. I do not want to go there right now, but I want to believe that as long as you have put the benchmarks and these people have qualified, whether they have qualified using other tactics and what have you, but a good number of MPs are good MPs, quality MPs. There are a few, of course, it is in every society, who probably don't measure up. But truth be told, that they have been pushed by the very electorate into doing activities they were not supposed to do, which makes their efficiency very doubtful.
Good. And he says, thanks for the show. The 11th Parliament has proved to be the worst in the history of our country. The Speaker seems to be ignorant about how to run this mighty institution because she lacks the ability to do so, just as her predecessors did. This has made her resort to using money to earn loyalty from MPs. We all remember the 40 million, 100 million, and now 500 million. 500 million?
No, the commission.
Oh, the commission. It's a lesson to our MPs not to always make decisions based on what the president wants, but instead what they think is in their best interest of the people and the country at large. Cleophas Masaba from Waboba Mbale. Thank you so much, Cleophas. Thank you so much for following, and we call these comments to keep coming in. Go to your message editor, send to 0701609906. The producer will run it on the screen. Send a WhatsApp message. Don't call, send a WhatsApp message, or send via our short messaging system known as SMS. Thanks for the debate, Brother Polo, and indeed great talk from the gentlemen on the show. My point is MPs are given too much money. In fact, the Casimo ETC should be reduced and added to medical items to help health facilities in the country. I am retired Edison from Kawempe Katoke. Thanks for the program. God bless you, brothers. Thank you so much. We appreciate that contribution there. He says, if it could be possible, every family could produce an MP, because it's like being an MP is just collecting money. I am Agaba Swaib here in Nyakarongo, Kagadi district. You hear the taxpayers are now speaking.
Apollo, if you made, let me say,
Let's keep.
Yes.
Let's wait for more messages to come in, but you can start
Okay.
from there.
I want to state here and now that if, for instance, the salary of the parliamentarians was put at 5 million.
Is it too much? As
Yes,
it
it's
stands?
a lot of money. Certainly. In our economy, that's a lot of money. If you put this money, if they put the salary of the MPs at 5 million, for instance, you would have more than 70% of those who are vying.
The basic salary is around 5-7 million, and the other ones are allowances and what and travel. What
Actually, the basic is 12.
I think
It's
basic
12.
should be
Yes.
12,
Yeah.
11 something, for something. Okay, 12 anyway.
12.
But you see, whatever you call it, a rose flower, even after being called by another name, will still smell the same. Whether you call it mileage, whether you call it food allowance, whatever name you
Seating
want
allowance.
to give it, at the end of the day, if it amounts to 40 million, then from there are these other additionals here and there and there. These attractions, majority of our MPs are actually coming to Parliament to earn a living.
Talk about the opposition NUP and their move now to recall a commission.
I was moving
Please
there.
do that.
My take on Honorable Mathias Mpuga is as follows. I'm wondering as to why the NUP decided to handle the issue of Mathias Mpuga in the manner in which they have handled it. I'm not saying, for instance, that there is no legal questions
Around
surrounding
the service award.
the service award, especially tagging it to an individual and say that's where it stops. It worries me if it had been that even the subsequent lopes and commissioners will earn the same, it would not raise suspicion. But again, looking at a young party as NUP, building what it is building, practicing pure political puritanism. Yes, it worries me because do you really want to tell me that by exposing
Puritanism
pure
is
political puritanism,
is what we should be, I mean, yearning for to
I would, you see,
sanitize our politics.
let us not bring religious religious activism here in politics. We are not just altar boys in the Roman Catholic Church or Anglican Church. We are talking about politics, and we are saying you are having your vice president of Uganda region.
Yeah.
You are having your former leader of opposition. You are having now your commissioner. He is at a certain highest level in your youngest party called NUP. We have been tracking him and looking at the inroads he's making in the political journey of NUP as a party. Forget about the other previous affiliations he had. And we are saying you strip him naked, expecting to get what political gains?
Because your party, the party you strongly support, Comrade Rugarama,
Yes.
decided to entice him with favors and bring him into their fold. Like
see,
Dr. Wanzala said.
I do not take that one away from NRM. And it is in the best interest of any political party. If I was in a government, NRM, and I had an opportunity to persuade a leader of opposition, a former leader of opposition like Mathias Mpuga, I would certainly do it. They forget about, but you see, the NUP should have extra eyes to realize that this that has now has happened to Mathias Mpuga is a trick by NRM, assuming, going by your argument, assuming that's what actually happened. Therefore, for us to exercise political maturity is we should not politically embarrass our former leader of opposition, our now commissioner, the person that has from the infancy of NUP been holding the steering as far as parliamentary affairs are concerned, A man who wrote, along with his colleagues, the Compact, Citizens Compact, very beautiful document. I've had an opportunity to look
Which
at
he
it.
did not dare implement, even by an inch.
You see, of course, there were a number of things around it. For political maturity to be realized, you must not just talk about it. I would have expected NUP to do better by, because you can't tell me.
By accepting their member, their leader, to join a table of eaters.
No, not necessarily that. Because unless you want to tell me that there were other events that have not been brought to the fore of the public. But if we are talking about 500 millions, which was an act of parliament, that parliament sat in whatever manner, of course we can discuss the legalities about how they sat, we can condemn them, we can go to the pulpit and say morally they are bankrupt, but it was parliament which did it, nevertheless. And he was not alone. He was not called to Musa Courts to pick that money. He was not called to State House in Nakasero, Erentebe, to pick that money. It was Parliament. In Parliament is where he received the money. Whether that one contravened the Constitution, whether that one contravened the
But
leadership
he says he has not received the money.
at the
He's
end
waiting.
of the, whether he has not received it, I doubt he must have received it. What would, because I mean this money was borrowed
Okay.
from the parliamentary circle. So what has happened now? What has, his account is not functioning.
And that he's still waiting for the money.
No, I don't think that is a viable argument. I think the argument should be, okay, he has taken what he has taken, but has NUP, because your question really is that as the top leadership of NUP, the president of NUP, handled this matter the way he should have handled it in order to diffuse. I don't think even when you move around, by the way, the ordinary man on the street and you ask him as to how the Mpuga issue has been handled was supposed to be handled in that manner, they will tell you, and you can even see it in social media and what have you, that actually they are turning the guns now to the NUP leadership.
Okay, thank you so much, viewers, and the messages are coming in. Thanks, Mr. Apollo, for the show. I am Mukisa Alan from Chengira. The problem is not Museveni, the problem is Parliament and corruption. Thank you so much, Mukisa, and keep those messages coming in. Timo, what are we saying? Is it a witch hunt? Is it NUP sticking to its values of integrity? And what are we saying?
Thank you, Apollo. Political parties in any country are strengthened by four things. The first is on the strength of its membership. Two is the component of the financing, its ability to mobilize resources both from the members and outside to facilitate its day-to-day work. The third is on the environment in which most of these political parties operate. And it has a great determining factor in how what the eventual outcomes of most of this work. And the fourth component is on the adherence to the structures within the political parties. To what extent can the systems within political parties strengthen, protect its members, but also protect the institution? So those four components, I think they inform how political parties within any political system, in any jurisdiction, should be able to realize that. What is happening in NUP is not unique. We've seen this not the same thing, but almost similar confusion in all the other political parties. And there seems to be
one are choosing the other for either receiving Museveni's money.
Absolutely. So the bottom line is seeing an external hand in all these things. For NUP, I think that how they find themselves here, and it's good for us to understand, the decision by the Commission was taken in around May 2022. The party comes out in 2024 around March. That's such a long period of time. And
what do you suspect?
So the party says that it had not come to their to their knowledge.
To the attention.
So it's only when we started having this saga within the social media and citizens coming out, that's when the matter actually came to the attention of the political parties. And even for those who are in the citizens, we didn't know what's happening. So the information comes out, and then the political party, as they say, say that they had a brief meeting of the top leadership. And it's true, they say indeed the
which Mathias Mpuuga
attended and he admitted. And indeed said that it was a wrong move, that he participated.
But he refuses to apologize.
He refuses in his statement. I think it is true, and slightly I disagree with Comrade Rugarama in the manner in which this was handled. Because at the time when NUP came out, they said that they had a brief meeting. And then this is a long period of time. It means that how these resources and all this confusion, it was handled in a very schemish way in the absence of the political party's knowledge. And so the political party, and so the public had already come out to demand for accountability and raising all this. So what did the party do? And I'm not a spokesperson of NUP really. They come out to state the facts clearly. I think for me, my concern is on the manner in which the leader of opposition, former, responded and raising all these accusations, or NUP is a family party, and all this. It became a bit of petty for me. Probably I think that he should have handled it differently.
That's how he defended himself.
Yeah. The statement.
So you believe he should have apologized? What?
No, I think that he should have confronted, he should have addressed, at least in his response should have been a bit more objective in light of the future of the political parties. Because as we stand today, I don't see any other political party within the opposition that is likely to remove NUP at the center stage, at least in the short term. NUP is likely to be in the coming elections. They may be weakened, they may lose some seats, or they may even get more, or their strength within different parts of the country may have been weakened, but they still remain to be the leading opposition party. And so I think the reason as to why even you'll see some members, including members of parliament, handling this very, very careful in terms of commenting, in terms of taking sides, is because of the understanding of what their future looks like. And for any politicians, it's to the extent that what stands for me in the next election. And so they'll be very careful. They'll still need the support of NUP. And so I don't think this...
So you agree the NUP leadership had the reason to call out Mpuuga on
the manner in which they did.
In the manner he received the 500 million.
I think the circumstances that surrounded all this chaos made it possible for what happened. And I would think that while there would be a desirable option for them to handle it in other way, I think the circumstances demanded for them to handle it the way it was. But broadly speaking, I think that as a country, within a multi-party dispensation, we are in a place where it's not so good. Understanding that the strength of any democracy lies within the political parties and how strong they are, but also how they can contribute towards this dispensation.
Okay.
Unfortunately, our political parties, the environment in which they're operating, is a bit stifled, and it's not serving the best for the country to the extent of promoting accountability, but also transparency.
Thank you.
The question is one at the back of our mind is how NUP top leadership has handled Mathias Mpuuga's issue, gaining them political currency going forward.
No. The time can be the best judge because they have their values. They say these are embedded in their values, in the party values.
Even going back,
they called him in a meeting.
They called him in the meeting.
And then he agreed to go and
even
resign.
the next meeting.
Is that minuted?
Do we have that as minuted? And he didn't show up.
Do we have that minuted? We have those minutes.
And Mr. Apollo, the conflicts in NUP started long time ago. Listen to the viewers.
Why should we have
Gentlemen, can we listen to the viewers? They are saying, Mr. Apollo, the conflicts in NUP started long time ago. Bobi Wine is the problem in NUP. He thinks NUP belongs to his family and his brothers are
There
getting
you
money
go.
from State House. These are wide allegations, but he is quite quiet and on that. He's Muksa Alan again. I think these are allegations.
Yeah,
I think that some of
We
them,
don't have...
just like my
there's
colleague
no
said,
evidence
I'm
that,
not a spokesperson of
that
NUP.
Bobi Wine's
But
family members are receiving money from the state.
But I saw Rubongoya, the Secretary General, saying that the allegations that Babi Chagulanyi is a signatory account is totally false. And I saw Mwanga Chivumbil, the Treasurer, also saying it is false. I saw people pointing out Bobi Wine taking gratuity from Parliament. The gratuity in Parliament, even in Puga, has been receiving it. It is within the Parliament Pensions Act. So Puga received the gratuity, but he also got the extra money. So people should not really mix these things.
Okay.
And maybe lastly, in the when NRM wanted to change commissioners and they invited people to apply in this recent, so the president and the SEC were very, they were very, very shocked to receive over 200 applications
170 something.
from NRM MPs because people have heard that there is money in the one in the commission.
Exactly.
Okay, Mr. Apollo, let the panelists not defend the illegal acts. We look at the legality of the constitution, not the decision of parliament. Secondly, did the former leaders of opposition, were they given the same? If not, where is the legality? Among is misusing taxpayers'
is
money.
still crying for the
Why can't Parliament offer, gentlemen? Why can't Parliament offer such monies to national referral hospitals? And he is Isaac from Makerere. Thank you so much, gentlemen, and ladies out there watching. Morning, Apollo. Our Parliament should leave to budget all what we call welfare. I think he's clear. It's bad in audience. The country is still poor, with poor roads, hospitals, salaries for teachers, doctors, etc. We are not happy. And I wish to know your name. Let me check. Arinute Ronald. I can check the name from the profile. Thank you so much, our viewers. And we have a very short time to conclude this show. And gentlemen, what is at stake now as these accusations and counter-accusations, splits and all that happening in the biggest opposition party? What is at stake? 2026 just across the, around the corner.
That, for me, that's my worry. And this is what, all along, by the way, for the benefit of our viewers, and especially that one who asked that question, I am not in any way justifying that the actions which are illegal should be sanitized. No. But we are talking politics. We are saying going forward is the action of NUP top leadership against Mathias Mpuga politically correct going forward, that by doing what they are doing, the political puritanism that the T's must be crossed, the I's must be dotted, the people who stole, quote unquote, Mabati. The president, see, that's why the president of this republic, by the way, this old man with the heart has got highest political calculation that you can think of. Is one of those top on the African continent. He should have relieved these people of their duties long if we are going to go by the actions, for instance, of Hakirima.
Now,
you remember Hakirima?
From us, we ordinary citizens and taxpayers, we think and we fault the president for not
Thank you so
actually
much.
acting
Exactly.
against the Mabati.
That's what. But you think all of them actually did what they did, having the same mind. That is not true. That's why the processes, whether you want to fault the processes of IGG and what have you, is another thing. But going back to this Nope and Mathias Mpuuga, why I brought the example of the President of the Republic of Uganda and NRM is to show you that political calculations are not supposed to be mixed with political puritanism.
Okay.
That they are errors. They could be errors here and there.
I get you.
Yes.
Dr. Gerard Wanzala, what he calls political puritanism, for us, we call it accountability and accountability to the people.
You are few. You are few.
I think
and you should also address yourself to the fact that has come out, especially from those sections who are on social media, that it looks like for NRM, corruption has been
normal.
Has become normal.
They have grown thick skin. Have you seen them condemning their commissioners? They're just happy. They're actually discussing in Mpuuga, but they as well
the money about their commissioners.
Yes.
Who also shared the money.
Yes.
No,
For
but
me, that's where the pain is.
In social media, the argument I would have accepted. If, of course, the people who are on social media, by the majority of them, who are doing the majority of them are opposition. Have you seen them condemning the commissioners, who are majority of them from the doctor's submission, actually NRM?
Wedihe, please make your submission as we conclude the show.
Actually, I think it's going to become very, very hard for us to fight corruption as long as the topmost leadership of this country doesn't demonstrate. I would agree with the senior comrade here. What are the Mabat thieves still doing in office? Because the president that time was very clear. He said those who had political responsibility to supervise and they went ahead and they stole the iron sheet, I will prosecute those ones. Then he said, but there are those who got Mabati, they are senior people who knew it was wrong, but they were given. He said, these ones, I will take political action.
Actually, I would have dismissed them long time
political
ago.
Action.
Zambia.
Then, after categorizing them, he actually declared that the biggest problem of his government are pigs. They corrupt. He called them pigs that will roast them.
Parasites.
But we have waited for the roasting. We are not seeing. Actually, I saw some of the suspects presiding over distribution of the same iron sheets. What a foolery of the people of Uganda, you know?
Timo, looks like the narrative now is that NRM has no longer actually punished the corrupt. Because now we are talking about Mpuuga, but the other commissioners who were on the panel, and nobody is actually talking about them.
No, I think it's on what has been discussed really, on familiarization with corruption and some of these very wrong things. While a section of the public may be concerned that there is a problem here, we've not seen NRM coming out very strongly towards that direction. That can only be insinuated. Is either
I think it is what Comrade Rugalama calls political maturity. Do you agree?
No, you see, I think the political maturity is where, that sort of political maturity is where has placed us as a country where we are today. Corruption has had a big impact on our democracy, on our health system and service delivery broadly. And so it's a very big challenge. And I think for us, even as we address the public, is the desire to see a better country.
Yeah, true.
A desire to have an accountable leadership that can come out very clearly. Whether there is a political intention, the primary, and all of us agree that we must be able to promote good governance in this country because it benefits us all. If we have strengthened political parties, it works for the best of the country. And so I think that while NUP is addressing all these challenges that it's confronting, it also has to be alive to really to the realities of the day, because as you're handling the Mpuga situation, just in the course you are hearing some of your members are receiving money on this other side. So it finds itself in a very tricky situation. But at the end of the day, I think political parties must be willing to take hard decisions, because for a country such as Uganda, that has been characterized by corruption, has been characterized with most of these things, and we don't see.
You reaffirm your support for the position the NUP leadership took to punish their top leader.
Absolutely, it's also that they're facing challenges in light of whether indeed they can recall Mpuga, because the legal framework is very clear how a commissioner can be removed from the commission. So it becomes very tricky, and so unless you're able to mobilize the numbers within the House or convince the member, it becomes very hard as a political party to
In your estimations, where do you think this leaves NUP as a party, if at all they fail to recall Mpuga?
They will not manage.
So I see the direction.
Because by the time we return here next week, the 7 days would have elapsed.
So I don't see Mpuga conceding or accepting to the party's position. There seems to be a very clear...
No, even if he refused, will they manage to remove him?
So they will not be possible. And so what I see is that the NUP needs to go back and re-strategize.
Okay.
And because at the end of the day, it's the people.
Okay.
It's the public. And so the NUP should be able to go back on ground, which is their strong area, address the public, the situation, and explain what has brought the current situation.
This same saga happened to many MPs who were pursued from opposition to NRM. Early mitigation is the solution. That's why some MPs have stayed in opposition for so many years. For example, Honorable Betty Namboze. Let the NRM commissioners eat their money. We are used to eat. This is Chris from Mulago. You see now, the taxpayers and the citizens have given up.
It's resignation.
It's a sign of resignation. As we wind up, thanks for the program. Magaba Swaib here in Cheraha, Nyakarongo, Sub-County, Buyaga, West Kagadi District. What all opposition parties must know is that Mr. Museveni is clever than all opposition party leaders in Uganda, and that's why you saw him saying that by 2026 there will be no opposition anymore. And okay, thank you. It's quite a long message there, but we get your submission. Thank you so much, our viewers. I think we must wind up here, gentlemen. One quick comment, Dr. Jedad Wanzala, on the legacy of
I think
Martinez Okoth Ochola.
Oh, okay. I thought I was making a comment, the last one on that. On Okoth Ochola, I think his short term, he has served police. He has cleared or improved the image of the police. Because as you recall, the other group ended up the whole of it in Machindi. The former IGP was known by the management by walking around. You hear a crisis in the Movende, he bought the helicopter, he jumps there, gives the money. He has women have been killed in Nansana.
Yeah, he arrives on the crime scene very fast.
Exactly. It became so costly to the police, you know, to run. Police was highly indebted to people who supply food. Promotions were not very clear. And then so many other professional senior officers were undermined, and actually they had gone back to the bench.
So it is a plus for...
So for me,
Ochola.
I think Ochola has improved the police. There's predictability in promotion. Even those who went through the slow rank and system, he has been considering them.
Comrade Rugarama, what do you think of Ochola's legacy?
Martin Okoth Ochola is a lawyer.
Yeah, true.
And he's the old type.
But even Kaibula was a lawyer. Or is a lawyer.
Yes, was the old is the old type. he's a stickler to the law. And majority of what he did, it had to be what the law says.
Really?
And indeed, we have seen throughout his tenure as the Inspector General of Police that it has been the law. And those who were not doing the following ran into problems with him.
Okay.
And
So it's a plus.
yes, it is a plus. And his method of leadership, actually, I do agree that, you see, Martin Zochora is a career policeman. And he's the type that has been there for a very long time because he was the deputy of Karekiwa.
Yeah, in the interest of time, comrade, just one word and we wind up. As you conclude this one, just one word and we wind up.
I therefore think that his health has not been okay. Probably it is on the account of his health that has not been given a contract. Otherwise, he would have been given a contract. But we have other worthy.
Why would the president wait for his contract to expire?
No, the president is practice of
the
the president ways of doing things.
Won't we witness a scenario similar to what happened to the Bank of Uganda governor 2.5
It is
years
not
down
only
the
it
road?
is not only the Bank of Uganda governor. We have seen the president take a slow move when it comes to renewing or giving fresh contracts of that.
Timo, just 1 minute and you conclude.
I think Martin Ochola has tried as an individual, but again is a victim of the current system where you cannot do much. The public trust, the enforcement of human rights, the welfare of our police officers, and many of these concerns, the trust of the public to report some of these things. I was looking at the Afrobarometer report saying that at least 41% of the public don't trust in police at all. So it's a big challenge, but as an individual within the current political dispensation, he has tried, but it still remains to. These are the systems within the current dispensation. Irrespective of how smart you are, how brilliant you are, it incapacitates.
So you give him a credit?
Yes, he has tried to manage at least he's going home, not going to Luzira.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. And yes, indeed, for your predecessor ended up in Makindi.
All of them, Agasirwe.
But how did they come out?
And you retired.
So it also matters how you come out. Yes, you have gone to court, but what has court said finally?
The court martial belongs to someone.
So you see, and they exonerated him how?
He forgave
by
them.
saying that there was nothing to start with.
All right, our viewers, thank you
The
so
owner
much
of
for
the
your
court
time.
martial forgave them.
Thank you for being with us for these long 2 hours, and we hope to catch up again next Saturday in another edition of The Dialogue. My name is Prince Apollo. Thank you so much, Timo, from Center for Policy Analysis. Thank you so much, Comrade Dugarama, Chairman, Pan-African Movement. Thank you so much, Dr. Jared Wanzala from the United Republic of Chirinya. We catch up next weekend. Good afternoon and